Hello and welcome to today's class on understanding geography with diagrams. Today we'll be talking about your rank size rule that had been proposed by G.K. Ziff. This is the second part of the urban hierarchy. Now let us understand what is this rank size rule. Now, the first statement says the concept of the rank size settlement system was suggested by G.K. Ziff in 1949 to analyze the hierarchical characteristics of the settlement. Now, his concept is based on the empirical analysis of 100 megacities of USA. Like Kristaller, Ziff concluded that settlement system is comprised of large number of small settlements and small number of large settlements. Let us understand what actually G.K. Ziff wanted to say. G.K. Ziff actually wanted to analyze the hierarchical arrangement of your settlement system. And this hierarchical arrangement of the settlement system was based upon analyzing the population of the settlement. It says that it's basically the population of a particular settlement, and it is according to the population we are going to arrange the settlement as per the hierarchy. The settlement with the largest population would be in the greatest hierarchy, then the next settlement would have little less population, the next settlement would have a little less population than the second settlement, and so on. This is the rank size rule. They are nothing but the analysis of the settlement system as per the hierarchy of the settlement. Now he took into consideration two things. First, the rank size rule, and second is the broader economic orientation. First, let us understand what is this rank size rule. See, this statement basically says that if in a settlement system is taken as P is the settlement system, then in a P we can arrange the settlement system as P1, P2, P3 up to Pn. What is this P? P is nothing but the population of the particular settlement, and the settlements are basically arranged in accordance to the population, where P1 is nothing but the settlement with the largest population. Simple. So he said that in the rank size rule, he proposed that if all the urban settlements in an area are arranged in descending order of their population, the population of the nth ranking settlement will be the ratio of the first ranking settlement and its rank. Understand this concept? Let us say in Odisha we have Bhubaneswar as a city, in Odisha we have Cuttack as a city, in Odisha we have the Rourkela as a city, and so on. Over here, Bhubaneswar has the top population. Next, we have the Cuttack, which has the next second largest population. Next, we can say Rourkela has the third largest population. Now, please understand in this context, if I want to find out the population of the Rourkela, or it's called as the Pn, or I call it the P3, then it will be P1 by 3. This is what it is trying to say. It says that thus the population series would be in this that the yes, it says that the population of the nth ranking settlement, nth ranking could be any ranking settlement, would be the ratio of the first ranking settlement and its rank. This is simple. This is basically a simple concept. We do not need to do any kind of mathematics with this concept. It is a simple understanding of the arithmetic concept, and that's it. But remember that Ziff says that the rank size rule is applicable to the nth rank. It means that, let us say in India, let us arrange all the cities starting from Delhi with the top population city to the minor of the minor cities, which have been arranged in the descending order. Now in that context, it says that the rank size rule will be applicable for nth ranking settlement. Means for any settlement we can pick up and we can make it applicable. That is what it says. As per Ziff, rank size rule is applicable to the nth rank of the settlement. But there are certain exceptions. What are these exceptions? Or the exceptions are nothing but the conditions in which the RSR or the rank size rule is not applicable. See, first exception was brought out by Berry and Horton. Berry and Horton clearly stated that this rank size rule is not applicable up to the nth settlement. Rather, it is applicable only up to the fifth ranking of the settlement. It means that P1, P2, P3, P4 and P5. If all the settlements are arranged only up to the fifth level, then only it is applicable, and it is not applicable to the nth level as suggested by Ziff. Next, it says that where primate cities are there in the smaller countries. Please understand this. Last class we had discussed about the concept of the primate cities. If you haven't seen the video, I would kindly request you to see the video, else it would be difficult for you to understand this concept. It says that where the primate city exists, the primate city basically they have the largest population. And then what happens is that there are smaller cities. Now in these smaller cities, the population could be even, means these two cities can have the same population. Similarly, these two cities can also have the same population. So it says that where the primate cities are there, then this pattern could disrupt at least one and the second level. Means that P1, P2, P3, it says that if there is a primate city, then the first and the second city level, it could be disrupted, because there is no static population within the city. So basically, if you are not able to understand this point, I would simply say that the rank size rule, it is very much difficult to apply with the existence of the primate city. Next, when one or more city size groupings are missing, look at the example. It says in the Australia, only big cities are there, no small cities. Similarly, in Canada, sorry, we need to have a comma over here. In Canada, only big and small cities, and there is no intermediate ones. So basically, this rule will not apply. Next, again in developing countries except Latin America where unplanned urbanization has taken place. India, example. Latin American countries are nothing but the South American and the Central American countries. Those are the Latin American countries. Now, rank size rule will not be very much applicable where there is an unplanned urbanization that has taken place. What is this unplanned urbanization? Where the planning or the urbanization is haphazard, means there is no synchronized planning. In that case, what happens is that the population within the city is not very static, and that is the very reason that we do not apply the RSR to the or the rank size rule application to the developing countries except your Latin America. Next, rank size rule, it addresses two vital questions. Why larger settlements are fewer in number, and what is the relationship between larger and smaller settlements? See, in the first statement itself, we had discussed that the GK Ziff also said that there are larger number of smaller settlements and smaller number of larger settlements. So what is this larger number of smaller settlements? Larger number of smaller settlements are none but your cities, and smaller number of smaller number of settlements are nothing but your villages. Sorry, smaller number of large settlements are cities, and larger number of small settlement are villages. Let me write it down for you. Smaller number of large settlement, sorry, again it's smaller number of large settlement is nothing but your cities, and the larger number of small settlement, the opposite of this, is nothing but your villages. So but basically rank size rule, it said that why there are smaller number of large settlements and larger number of small settlements. He basically analyzed this. See, he analyzed it by two things. One is the force of diversification and the force of unification. What is this force of diversification? Force of diversification says that, or basically let us understand with the example of the village. What happens in a village? In village, predominantly the occupation is none other than your agriculture. In agriculture, what happens is that lands are established. In this land, the farming takes place, as a result of which each farmer acts independently over his land, and rarely there is something or some level of cooperation for the land. Or in general, what happens is that the cooperative farming in general is absent, it's not present everywhere. So understand this concept. It says that in location, higher number of smaller settlement is generally determined by nearness to the source of raw material, agriculture. What happens is that in the villages, the settlement or the houses are near to the agricultural field. That is what it is trying to say. Second, where primary economic activity predominates, that is agriculture, like we said. Hence, there is prevalence of dispersed settlement of small size at regular interval and distances, like we had said, small size settlements that would be at a regular interval, and hence the force of diversification occurs. Now, as a result of this, what happens is that there are larger number of smaller settlement, or we can say the villages are in larger number. There are small villages, but these villages are in larger number because because of the diversification or the force of diversification. Why is the force of diversification? Agriculture is responsible, because every year there is a tract of land which is being farmed, hence it is extensive. And again, one more thing, remember that one of the reasons for the force of diversification is that there is a lack of commuting together. When the villagers, they do not go together to their farms, they individually go to their farms. Rarely you can see that the villagers moving together in a bus or in a railway to their source place. They basically take the walking mode, they basically go individually. But the opposite is in the case of the cities. In the cities, for example, I would say, now people travel in the bus or people travel in the tram to reach their destination or to reach their office. In the office, they basically, what they do, they work together. But in case of a farm, the farmer is working individually. Now understand this force of unification. In contrast to the force of this is the force of unification. In contrast to the force in the forces of diversification, in contrast, the force of unification results in the emergence of a small number of large settlement. Here the focus is on tertiary economic activities. Like I said, people, when they go to the office, they go together, they work together, they commute together, they work together, and they live almost like together. Nearness to the market, obviously. Now let us talk about the settlements in the village as well as in the cities. In the cities, what we see is that apartment culture. Apartment culture means in a very small place, large number of people would be living. But the same is not in case of the villages. In the villages, people basically have their residence near to their farms. So basically, there is a force of diversification that exists in the village. But whereas this force of unification that exists where? In the cities. Hence, the cities are more compact. Since there are the large number of they are the smaller number of larger settlements, or we can say though their cities are there, but they are smaller in number because of the compactness of the because of their compactness. Next, nearness to the market rather than the source material, coherent living and commuting, like I said. So basically you can understand why there is a smaller number of large settlement. So basically these two are the things that basically discuss that why there is a large number of villages but why there is a small number of cities. Again, look into the population scenario. We can see that in India today, 30% of the population live in the urban place, whereas 70% are still there in the rural areas. Again, this rank size rule was further enriched by Peter Haggett. Peter Haggett was one of the modern geographers whose contribution to geography was highly significant. Sorry for that. To make the rank size more applicable, that is, extending its application beyond the planned settlement, the rank size rule can be added with the binary rank size rule and the primate rank size rule. Primate rank size rule, nothing but incorporation of the primate city concept into the rank size rule. Kindly draw this diagrams, because this was the diagram, because what happened was that Peter Haggett, he included this rank size rule into the central place theory. Again, he included into the of your Mark Jefferson's this Mark Jefferson's theory. Again we have the G.K. Ziff's rank size rule, and this is what the Peter Haggett's rule. Next, let us understand the rank size relationship in India. The rank size relationship is absent in India at the national level. Why? Why is the rank size rule absent in India at the national level? Understand this. See, the population size of Mumbai, Calcutta, Delhi is very close to one another. This is number one point. That there is a uniformity in the level of population. You can write this out. We can simply write it that this is the point number one, that is your uniformity in the population level. Number one. Number two. Moreover, a great majority of states also do not conform to the rank size rule. Next. Again, second is that in fact, primacy exists in 15 out of 29 cities. Like we had already explained that wherever the primacy is existing, rank size rule is difficult to apply. Hence, we know that the primacy exists in 15 out of the 29 states of India. As a result, it's difficult to apply this rank size rule. Similarly, in Kerala, three cities, Cochin, Calicut, Thiruvananthapuram, have nearly the same population. So, first of all, what you saw is that intrastate uniformity in population. Second, again, you see is that ki intrastate. Intrastate means within the state there is uniformity of the population amongst the cities. So, 2 points we can write. Number one point is that ki interstate city population, interstate uniformity in the city population, and second is that ki intrastate uniformity in the population. Next, however, again we have it is rank size rule relationship can hold good for the state of Rajasthan. Similarly, in brief, rank size rule in India is an exception rather than a rule. So basically this is the rank size relationship in India. Now, what is the criticism of this rank size rule? Rank size rule is rigid in as it gives more importance to population. See, in the beginning itself, we had seen that the settlement systems are arranged as per the population. Rather, settlement systems can also be arranged beyond the population, which could be referred with the infrastructures and etc. Next, rank size rule application to the cities is difficult as there is no uniform definition of the city across the world. Again, migration further leads to the change in the population of the city. That is, the population is not very static. And this is also one of the reasons why the rank size rule is difficult to apply in across the world. That will be all for today. Thank you. We'll be coming up with the next segment in the next class of settlement geography. Thank you.